And here we are. We're actually live, and my camera's a little low.
It's just a floating head.
Exactly. Welcome everybody. Once again for episode 2. I am Dave from DNA Reptilia, and you are.
Joe from Parceltongue Reptiles in the UK.
There we go. We're from two sides of the pond here to talk about photography, mainly towards reptile photography, actually. Not just
Even though you
normal
got a few
photography.
pictures of my dog by accident the other day.
Yeah, I got one. I didn't do any edits to it, but I didn't do any edits to any of them either. So I was just trying to, as the intro was playing, our new intro, let us know how you liked it, whoever's watching. If you didn't catch it at the very beginning, rewatch it. It was worth it. I liked it. I sent it to Joe. I put it up on YouTube as a private, so he had to get the link for it or whatnot, and just to make sure that he actually approved of it too, because I didn't want to jump the gun without his approval. So
No, it was good. I was almost ready to do a little jingle if we didn't have anything.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of an intro, unless I mean, this is only our second one, but still, it doesn't hurt. I'm trying to figure out where the heck I put your photos that I. Okay. It was in my recent files. Okay. I was trying to find the pied one that you sent me, and I forget. At the time when we did our first one, I forgot how to set it up in the camera raw. If I open it up in Photoshop and I click on filter, scroll down, it says camera raw filter. I click on that, and I should. Why is. Oh, come on. This ain't working all of a sudden. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't immediately test after the second time. Let's see if I can figure out
the
why.
photo's really underexposed.
Yeah. No, it's not capturing for some reason.
I've only got 21
seems
days until I get my pied hatchlings. They'll be due soon, my first recessives.
at least you have eggs. I'm waiting. I think by the end of this week is 30 days after shed.
I've been noticing a lot on Instagram. It's happened to me as well. But a lot of people have said that after pre-lay shed, this year they've been waiting sort of 37, 38 days before eggs. My female was 36, but I've seen so many this year because normally it's within 28 to 31, isn't it?
Something like that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why I can't share or why, because I have to use OBS to capture the camera raw, and I'm trying to think where I'm lost in. I hate this. Sources, display capture. Okay, this one, no capture. Properties. Yeah, why aren't you capturing? Window. Capture cursor, capture, yeah.
Good job this isn't live.
Yeah, no kidding. I know. It's like when you want to go live, everything is just perfect. Every time, everything is a perfect match. Why can't I? Oh, so how's the weather been?
Raining.
Has it really been raining by you?
It's non-stop rain. It's not. We had the driest April ever, and then all the rain's come in the last 2 weeks.
That sucks. There. Aha.
You fixed it?
I hope so. Let's see how much. Okay, I just gotta remind me next time to do this ahead of time, because this sucks. Okay, just gotta show one more view. Where is it? And the thing is like I didn't want to stop watching TV neither, because we were watching Breaking Bad on Netflix, me and the wife.
Oh yeah. Have you just got into that?
Yeah, we're no, add the stream. There it is. There. Now. Ta-da. See? I got it.
We'll just cut that first part.
Yeah, I will edit that in post. It's backwards. There it is. Okay. This is the picture that you sent me last month that I was going to try to edit and I couldn't get it up on the screen, but now I was
just
able.
That cocoa fiber. So this is well, this snake's called Neo. So I've been getting my collection together for nearly a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that I speak to in my family is slowly asking questions about it. And the brother-in-law, we went down to do you know Gavin in Birmingham, Balls to You?
Oh yeah.
There's a really famous jewellery shop in Birmingham. Well, it's like an area. It's called the Jewellery Quarter, and it's where a lot of people go to get engagement rings. And I was thinking of proposing for a long time. So we went down to Birmingham to say that we were picking up a snake, just so I could go to the Jewellery Quarter without a twigging on.
Yeah.
So we got the engagement ring, and then I thought, oh, I'm actually going to have to buy a snake, because if I come home empty-handed, she's going to wonder what's going on. So I got this snake. So the brother-in-law came with me because he was coming with me to pick the ring. And then, as Gavin was showing us round, I could see his eyes going, okay, as he's starting to work out what genes go with what and what dominant or recessive means. And then he started asking questions, and then we were there for about an hour, and you could see that he was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, oh, should we get a bit of a project going? Because I don't think his missus would let him have snakes in his house. So he said, oh, if I go ours with you, you look after it, and we'll have a project. So this is the one that's in the incubator now. This is our first pie project. So this is his male.
Oh wow. Sorry, I had my gnat zapper was going. I forgot to shut that off too. I just got it a couple weeks ago. Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking of getting one of them, or a Venus flytrap.
Venus flytrap can't zap gnats fast enough.
And there's no explosion sound, is there? Which you clearly like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can get both.
Yeah.
Paid $35 for that, and it actually came. Hey, Elite, how you doing? We got our first comment on episode 2. I kind of figured it was going to take a little while before someone actually showed up or commented. So,
thing is, we need to get better at putting the reminders out a couple of hours before we go live as well, because people see it a week before and they're like, oh, I'll watch it, and then they forget.
Yeah, that's why. Actually, since I have this, it's actually live on YouTube and our Facebook, page, the DNA Reptilia Facebook page. We're actually doing pretty good, Elite. He was asking how we were doing.
Yeah, we're doing fine. Just waiting for eggs now. I keep checking the incubator every 30 seconds, coming upstairs, checking it.
I'm just waiting for eggs to drop, and I'm checking twice a day.
Yeah.
I have one girl that I'm waiting end of the week. I have another one that's going into her pre-lay shed, which is a the one that I'm waiting on is a pastel jigsaw, and she was paired to a spider bamboo. Yeah, I know. And then the one that's in blue now is a GHI Mojave, and she was paired with 2 boys. the first male we didn't see a lock, but it's our special pied. It's
So
the it,
GHI Mojave Pieds.
yes,
Oh,
and the second male was the spider pied, or the spider bamboo. The spider bamboo has gone to 4 girls this year for us. So
is that the one you put a picture up of the other day?
yes, one of them. He was the father of the 3 other smaller bamboos. The other males. We produced 6 bamboos last year, and sold 4 of them, and one decided to come back.
Yeah, I need to get in on the bamboo, but I've got a few too many snakes in the bell complex. I need to sort of.
If you want a snake in the bell complex that doesn't throw an all white snake, throw special in.
I've got special. I've got some crystals as well.
Yes.
The crystals hatched last year, and they're stunning. But they get greener and greener as they grow as well.
Mm-hmm. Was it Mystic? Gives you pattern, but if you throw it in with Mojave, you don't get an all white snake. But when you breed that, Mystic and Mojave are really hard to distinguish.
Yeah, I know that's. See, I'm aiming for some purple passions as well because I like them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got it's not a Mystic, it's a Phantom and a Lesser.
Lesser with anything in the bell complex is so awesome.
Yeah, I know. That Lesser, I'm telling you now, he's been so busy because he's Het Ghost and Het Pied as well. So he's going to all my recessives.
Double recessive Het, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to make them versatile, but you don't want to wear them out neither.
No, I know, exactly. But I've stopped pairing him now because he went off food. So I only pair when they eat.
Right. I was going to stop pairing my bamboo spider to the 4 girls that he's been with because he didn't eat for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he stayed, last time I paired him, he stayed on the other side of the tub. So I was like, well, okay, I guess you're done. But I still tried to feed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I had a extra ASF floating around, so I tossed it in with him. 20 minutes later, it was gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you ate. Now this week, you're scheduled to be paired. Why not? Let's toss you in. You ate, so why not?
How long do you leave them between eating and pairing?
How long do I leave them in the tub?
Mm-hmm.
My schedule goes feed on Monday, and I pair on Wednesday, and I usually leave them in until Sunday night at the latest, either Saturday or Sunday night. And even sometimes I have to leave them in there longer because they're still locked.
But if you, But if you see a lock, do you remove them the second they unlock?
I'll check each day if I see a lock. As soon as they're done locking, I will separate.
Yeah, same.
Because we don't want to utilize them too much.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I don't know who I'm hoping for to be the sire of any of the clutches because our special pied, he didn't start locking until after I already put the bamboo spider in there and that he locked with the Mojave GHI. So no matter what,
isn't a special pied also white as well?
Our special pied is white, but most special pieds have a little bit of pattern on the head.
Okay.
The big difference will be the hard ones are going to be the normals. If we do get a dual sire clutch, it's going to be hard to tell what side of the normal is. I won't even. I may sell it as a Parceltongue pied, but if I see bamboo coming out of the clutch, well, then I know at least the bamboo spider was one of the sires. If I do not see any crystals, then I could almost safely assume that the special pied was not the sire, because that would be one definite way of telling if the special pied actually locked or not.
Unless you see both.
If I see both, then any normal will be a pass het because there's no way for me to tell. There'll be a 50% chance that it is het, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've only had 2 clutches so far. I've had that pied clutch, which is a het pied to a pied. So
is it?
Hopefully half of them should be. And then, because I'm still making for next year, I've just paired a blade clown to a pastel, just to make hets. But all the actual snakes that I want to lay that are going to make the crazy combos are still building.
Yeah, some of my crazy stuff is still growing up. That is, they're at the 1,200 gram mark, and I didn't want to push it this year.
Yeah.
So last year I pushed it on 2. Everything came out fine, but I just did it once just to see. I was like, I'm not going to do it again. I know it can be done, but it's one of those things where morality kind of kicked in a little bit. It's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. After seeing Shane Kelly's egg-bound female, have you seen that video? Is it Small Town Exotics?
Yes, Small Town. That happened to him just last season. He was able to. Did he have to aspirate one of the eggs?
Yeah. Well, it was only the one that got stuck, I think, and he did manage to get it out. But then a few weeks later, it didn't end well.
Yeah.
I know that put me off because I've got a couple of females that are literally like 1,450 grams, so like 50 grams away from what people. And I'm still like, if I just wait till next season, there might be 1,900.
Yeah,
it might be a bit better, but especially that highway, she's knocking on the door now. I'm like, oh, do I care?
I know it's tempting. I heard a rumor. I'm trying to remember who I heard it from though. That most of the egg-bound girls that they have seen are usually older females.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did we ever hear anything about that article that was on Morph Market about that snake in the zoo that laid a clutch of eggs?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Like 30, 40 years old or something.
Yeah, I had a Parthol clutch.
Yeah.
I did hear that Parthol clutches don't usually live very long, like maybe 3-4 years.
Oh, okay.
So I would hope for no Parthol clutches ever.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaliyah was asking, how many bell pythons do we have? Do you know how many you got off the top of your head? I don't.
22. Yeah, 22.
5, 6, 7,
and then about 24 geckos.
13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20.
If you come back and say 3, Dave.
No, I counted 28 and I'm still going. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 40, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. 56 right now, I think I have. Somewhere around that ballpark. Some are holdbacks and some are new acquires. Yeah, it'll definitely increase next year. Unfortunately.
Next month I've got 16 that will be out of the eggs. So that'll take me to 38.
For a little while, for a few months.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to do my preset that I normally do first on all my reptile preset that it's basically the settings that I set all of the basic settings, all these settings, this. I go through, and once I found out what actually works really good, I set it up to as a preset, I call it reptile reflection.
Yeah.
That's stage 1 for me. It actually intensifies You notice how much brighter it got.
Yeah.
And how much lighter the background got. We are going to be addressing that. I dazed. There's a trick to know when your background is black, even on a not so good screen.
Okay.
But we are going to tackle this guy real quick with the spot removal tool and how I had to do it when I edited it to show you when I sent it to you on Instagram. I had to actually go first. I drew over, and you'll notice it's not going to heal it right away perfectly. Well, son of a bitch, it did actually a good job. I had to go over it a couple times last time. So you just stay in the black area a little bit so I can just pull from another. Yep, see, there's a spot. Let's see. Right there, I didn't actually heal it right. So what I'll do is I'll start way over here and I'll go back over that spot. Sometimes you might have to, there, now that spot is healed. It takes a few times on certain things, I guess, to actually, and this was actually, you sent me over a JPEG because I couldn't open up your RAW file. I'm actually editing the JPEG file right now.
Okay.
So
you have to remember as well when you're doing reflection photography to do the same to the shadow reflection as well.
Yes, I noticed that when I was doing that, you can see a little bit right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right here is the reflection of that stinking piece of hair. And already got the majority of it gone. And here's the cool part is, granted there are scales there. Come on, do better. There we go. And just watch. Pretty much it almost all. This is why I like Photoshop. I know you can do this in Lightroom too, but the thing is in Lightroom you can't go in and change colors as easily like you can in Photoshop. But I don't change colors in Photoshop. I just like putting personal touches. And then you, like me, have all these specs.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
dust.
It'll happen.
I try to avoid it by polishing the surface before, but I find that the more I polish it, the more dust gets left because it falls off the kitchen roll or the whatever it is.
Yeah. Do you have a microfiber towel?
Yeah. For the camera lenses, I might try that.
I've noticed if I do it before in between snakes or reptiles, Elliot finally answers back. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I turned my head away. He's got 35.
Whereabouts are you based, Elliot?
Yeah. Yeah, in between the animals, wipe it down just to get the dust off of there. It's like with the microfiber.
Yeah.
But what did I do? I went up to the adjustment brush. I pulled down the exposure, the contrast, the highlights, and the shadows. I mean, just the exposure and contrast normally is enough. But sometimes I'll go all of them just to make it dark.
One thing I was going to ask you when you edit, right? So, like this snake here, in its eye, you can see the flash of the camera. Do you edit that?
You want that. You actually do want that. In human photography, it is basically that light that's in the eye is it's the catch. It's the catch light.
Yeah.
And you actually want that in all other oh, why am I answering my phone? Oh, I was answering a message on my phone. Never mind. You actually do want that. I've seen a lot of other reptile photography that you'll actually sometimes see two of them because they have two lights so they can get it wrapped around. Because us having the animals that we're photographing, they're not as jumpy. Um, so we can actually get our light closer to our animal to actually make it a softer light to go all the way around the animal. Some of the photographs that I've seen taken are of venomous animals, and you don't want to be really close to that animal. So, in order to get light on both sides of the animal, they use two lights. They use two octagon soft boxes that are tied to the same controller, because you'll see two little dots in the eyes, signifying that there was actually two lights pointing at that one direction.
Yeah, that, and they have to wear chainmail. Have you seen them taking photos of venomous behind them perspex?
Yeah, face mask.
Yeah, there is no way you'd catch me doing that.
And that's where you do not want a 50 millimeter lens as an actual lens on a SLR camera. You want at least like an 80 mil lens so you can be back a couple feet because you don't want to be within striking range.
When we obviously next month when we start properly, we need to cover, because I did some polls on Instagram. Did you see them?
Yes. What is the most intimidating part about photography? Either the camera or the editing. And a lot of people were saying the editing, or it was, last time I looked, it was 65%.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this now. Photoshop is like $10 a month.
Yeah.
And I think Creative Cloud, that will be able to allow you to have it on your iPad, on your PC,
and your phone,
and pretty much on anything. And that will be Photoshop and Lightroom, I think. I think they're both tied together.
Yeah, we're both Adobe. It's so easy. Do you know, when you're editing on the iPad, you put it into a folder and it syncs up, and you look on your phone, and within a few seconds it's there for you to upload to Instagram, because I find uploading to Instagram easier on my phone.
Yeah, it is. It is. We were talking about aspect ratios last time. Reason why I do 5x7 is because a lot of photography prints print out real nice at 5x7s. For Instagram, 5x7 is actually not that bad. It's just a little bit shorter in height, but it's actually not that bad. I started out doing like 16:9. That's only good for computer screens.
Yeah,
that's what I found out. So, pardon me, I had to let some gas go. Now, I won't be able to blow this up. I'll do this full screen. Let's see. Now watch my cursor. You see my cursor? Top right hand corner. Okay, there is this little white drop right here. If I click on that, it'll show me where everything is black, black, black.
Yeah.
So that's how I can now tell where if I want it to be black, black. And I'm still on the brush that I was darkening the background. So just watch this. You think this is black here? Now it's even blacker. Now I can actually tell where everything is actually black, black. The more blue it turns, the blacker it is. Okay. So that's one way to be able to tell if your background is as dark as you really want it to be.
So that's what you mean when you say on a rubbish screen, if you've not got a great screen.
Right. So now I can click on that again, and now it's extremely black. Yeah. But I wanted to be a little bit closer down here. I mean, I already edited this picture and sent it to you. This is the original one that you sent me again. I figured I'd show you how I did some of these things.
Yeah.
Now you see the white one here. There's one on the other side that is black. That does the exact opposite. Any spot where it's red, it's overexposed. See, there's a spot right there that's overexposed a little bit, and a couple spots right here that's overexposed. I mean, for what the picture is and for what the snake is, that is almost perfect exposure now.
Well, thanks.
It was a dual effort. What can we say?
Is it?
Well, it's looking at your photo, but with my preset. Yeah. Oh, see you later, Elite. Nice talking to you. Nice. Thanks for sticking around for a little while. At least you were the first person, but hey, episode 2. But anyways, I know Wonderland was supposed to be on. I was supposed to be watching. I wish I had a. Yeah, I think next time I will definitely post something on Instagram just ahead. We'll get this figured out. We'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
We're still working out all the bugs, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But the good thing is it is going to be up for everybody to look at a later time.
Yeah. Yeah, because we need to start from the beginning. Maybe go through like the cameras that we're using and stuff. Because my camera isn't. I wouldn't say it's that expensive, but it's not cheap. But people can get good shots with
yes,
£200-300 camera.
Yes, and I have one coming that I paid $415 for.
Oh really?
Yes.
Camera is it?
It's a Panasonic. It can control flat. It should be able to because it should have. It looks like it has a hot shoe on it, not just a place to put a microphone. It does have a mic input. It's a 20 megapixel. Has a flip out screen, but it's not a touch screen, which is fine because there's still the buttons on the back of the camera. I'm going to be giving the FX1000 by Panasonic a try. It is a camera that has the lens fully attached to it. It's called a bridge camera.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It is a 20 millimeter up to 600, I think that one was. Up to 600 millimeter.
How does it work with the crop factor then? Is it full frame or?
It is a 1-inch sensor.
Okay.
It's not a 1/2 because there's another one I was thinking of that was a 12 megapixel camera. So I was trying to look at the little bit lower end so I could show, if you don't have a budget higher than a certain amount, you could try looking at a camera like this. And then I want to show some photography from that camera. I chose the FX1000 because I want to actually use it as instead of our camcorder. Because once my daughter moves out, I told her I'm going to give her the camcorder so she can make videos at her place, and then I'm going to need to replace it. And I was going to use the FX100 because it actually has a flip out screen.
Yeah.
But if I was going to use it for strictly photography, I would have went with the FX80. It has a touch screen on the back, but the screen does not flip out. But it does do, I think, the 20 megapixel photography. They both shoot in 4K. I'm going to be shooting or doing video in 1080p. But it's all in one unit. You don't have to take off the lens or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
try and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I chose Panasonic because my controller works with Panasonic cameras. That's why I wanted to stay in the same field because I wasn't 100% sure. Mainly, I'm going to be using it for videography, but I just want to show if you don't have a budget, it is more of a budget style camera, like an all-in-one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because a lot of people, like I've been speaking to people this week because I've been trying to get some photos together for future episodes and stuff, and they were saying that they wouldn't go out and buy a camera because of the, well, they think that their phones produce better colorings than a camera would. They're worried that it would change the color of the snakes, but I've sort of said it's the complete opposite, because you've got more control after you've taken the photos to trying to get it as close.
Yeah, the only pictures I got though were not pictures of the snakes. You just sent me the 2 gecko photos.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you're right. If they're afraid that it's going to change the color of snakes, well, then if it's changing the color of snakes, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Or there's something that you're not doing something wrong. You're doing something that could be improved upon.
Yeah. It's just daunting, isn't it? Because it's like people think that you have to be David Bailey to take photos, but literally you could get it cracked, sussed within a day.
Right.
Depending upon what room you're in. Like, I know now, as soon as I come into this room, I know exactly what I need to put down, what I need to turn on and off, and then just take the photos. It changes depending upon whether it's just reflection shots, or sometimes I like to do it on a brighter background or a white background. But
yeah, the pictures that I put in our intro were 2 of them were colored backgrounds, which actually look really nice.
Oh,
have you tried any of those? Those were constant lights, correct?
They were, yeah.
Have you tried any of those with flash yet?
Not yet. I might give it a try. Do you think it will improve it?
Maybe. Reason why I was thinking it was constant lighting is it looked like the gecko was on the move. You could see it was a little bit of a blur.
Yeah,
it wasn't snapped. It wasn't frozen with the flash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. Because to be fair, that constant light isn't the most powerful either. So you have to turn the shutter speed down a bit to be able to let more light in. But then if it moves an inch, it struggles.
Do you know by chance who sent this photo in?
Yeah, so this is one of my customers. This is a gecko that I sold to her last year. It's just one of the eclipses, and she's basically been doing like little photo shoots of it and sending them across. But when I put out the comment that I wanted to try and get some photos in of different people's animals, she sent this through. She sent me quite a few, to be fair, but I've sent you ones that I thought were good or that could probably be improved a little bit.
Okay. Is she shooting these with her phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the first thing I asked, because I wanted to get the raw. I know that's what you were thinking as well.
Once I figured out how to open up the JPEGs, into the Photoshop RAW editor to where I can actually edit. They're just filters that are going over top the original image. The RAW is the best way, but I can do it with the JPEGs. So which is
I try to have a go at it myself, but if you notice, like if you try and pixel peep, if you have a look, if you zoom in now more towards the top, it gets a bit grainy.
Yeah. It's like the ISO was pushed a little too high.
Yeah. But that's another thing as well, the disadvantage to phones, because it will literally just try and choose what it thinks is the best regardless. So had that been brought down, to a lower ISO, and maybe the shutter speed had to come up again, but it might have got a better photo. But a phone doesn't necessarily do that, does it?
Right. If there wasn't enough light, it will raise the ISO in order to get you the right exposure on the item that you're actually trying to take a picture of. And raising the ISO introduces speckling into your picture, noise, as they call it. That's the disadvantage of digital anything, to be honest. Any digital photography, videography, I've been seeing it for years on the TV. You know, where the black areas are, you can kind of see like gray and stuff kind of pixelating inside of it a little bit. It drives me nuts. It makes me wish that we could go back to the old analog days where everything, yeah, it wasn't the highest quality picture, but if it was black, it didn't change different depths of black right in front of you. So that kind of drives me nuts. I'm a little on the old side, I guess.
But what I'm saying to you is, in this situation, like the phones increase the ISO to try and get more light. But if we were doing it, or a photographer was doing it, we'd keep the ISO as it was, and maybe
Slower to we would
or the
slow
shutter speed.
the shows. Yeah, tongue twister. Slow the shutter speed, but first, I think what I would try, I would um do a
Bring the
lower f stop.
Yeah,
I
because
would
it can
bring the
get
f
really
stop
sharp.
down, um, the number down, the diameter wider. That you would get more of the gecko in focus, and then the background would start to blur out.
But in
That's
this
probably where I
situation,
would,
that might be a good thing because there's a lot of bare space at the back.
and we can kind of simulate that.
Yeah.
I will try the reptile reflection. Oh boy, that brightened it up too much. Is that was a little. Let's try. Well, that one was better. No. Duh! I think that was a sample. Oh, maybe this. Nope. I think this is out of the presets that I made before I really start dinking around with it. I like going through my presets that I
Yeah.
saved first. I mean, it's how's the
Yeah.
that's overexposed. Is there anything underexposed? Barely. So I mean, it's not bad. But now we will go to filters. There's a radial filter in the top right hand corner. Let's see if I can make this full screen. Top right hand corner, and I will draw. We'll go like this. Just oh, I need to reset, or is it reset? There. I will do on the outside. We will do sharpness. I'll bring way down. Let's see, maybe if I made it smaller. Because it feathers it out. Feather. We'll give it a bigger feather. Wrong way. Wrong way. Wrong way. I know it can be done. I just haven't done it before.
That's a bit better.
Yeah. Where you're blurring out the background a little bit. But yet it looks in focus right in the middle of the feather.
Yeah. And hides a bit of the.
Let's go like that. There, which is hiding, which is basically blurring a lot of the pixelation up on the top.
But you can also crop that down as well, couldn't you?
Yes, we could. Where am I? Where's my crop tool?
I don't have an iPhone, but does the iPhone give you the option to shoot in RAW? Do you know?
I don't know.
I know it imports RAW files.
If it imports raw files, I think there is a way that you can actually import. I would think. That's a good question. I never.
I'll have to see what phone she's using and get her to retake some
Yeah.
in RAW, because this would have been ideal, this photo, but you're limited to even with the RAW filters on.
Right. No, I can new brush. I can kind of Trying to fade some of this, make some more of the background a little bit more on the blur side. But it's, yeah, I mean, it can be done. It's going to take a little bit of playing around, maybe. Just seeing if I can get the face. Granted, it looks blurry now, but we will bring the sharpness back on that brush. I'm just trying to see if I can get the speckling to actually pop a little bit more.
Could you bring some of the exposure down by just painting the face? Is that something that you've done before?
I actually painted the face, but I'm bringing the contrast up, which you notice. See, right there is normal, and I'm bringing it up, which is giving it a little bit more shadow on the side, and it's intensifying the dots, the pattern on his head, so it's looking more. But then I could bring, if I bring the exposure down too much, it'll really darken the our right side. But the good thing is, I can click on new brush, click on reset. I can bring down the exposure, and I can just paint on this side, right where it's a little overexposed. And you're ready. You can see it drop down a little bit because it's 0.6.
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Yeah, I'm at -1 on the exposure on just that left-hand side of the face.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about editing with the Photoshop Raw. Oh, hey, Brad, how you doing? Sorry, I was looking this way on my computer screen. I didn't see it. Brad Clark says, howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi. Daughter's got home from work.
I've seen some of the photos of her the other day with was it the hognose?
Yes, with it around her neck.
Yeah.
She's a chunky girl, too.
You've got a few hognoses. Hognose-eye.
Yeah, I know. Hog noses, nose eye. It's like saying lotus. Do you say lotus or do you say lotuses? It's actually lotus. For plural, it's
not. That's wrong. It's lotuses.
Oh, jeez.
The amount of sisses that you add is the amount of lotuses that you have extra.
Well, then it's just one for me.
For now.
But yeah, don't be afraid to bring photos into Photoshop. Didn't realize you. Yes, Brad, I'm a cheesehead. I live in Wisconsin. Now, Joe, on the other hand, no, he doesn't live in Wisconsin. He doesn't live in the United States even. He's across the pond. You actually know Gavin, right? Oh yeah, that pied you got from him, right?
It wasn't the pied, it was the super glass ghost that I got from him. But that was what started off the pied project, yeah. Yeah, he's a nice guy, Gavin.
Seems to be on the videos that he produces. Have you met names Predator BP? What's his name? You haven't met him yet?
No, I've seen his videos.
It's like, just because you are all in the UK doesn't mean you guys are neighbors. So I'm just.
I mean, to be fair, it's a small island. We're probably all within like a 3-4 hour drive of each other.
Mm.
Whereas 4 hours probably wouldn't even get you to the other side of your state, would it?
4 hours? Correct. Well, I'm in central Wisconsin. If I drive 3 hours south, I would actually be out of state. If I drive 3 hours west, I would be close to being out of state. And if I drive 3 hours north, I'd be cold.
be near Canada, eh?
Yeah. Well, no, not quite. I would have to go through Michigan first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us England's, or from where I am, probably 5 hours north, and I'm in Scotland. But
I think my wife just stubbed her toe. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh, I'll get it later. Was it already scratched?
No, I haven't touched them yet.
She lost a scratch off underneath the stove.
she what?
She dropped one of the scratch offs and it slid underneath the stove.
Oh.
It sounded like she stubbed her toe. Oh. So I'm going to give this a crop. I think with JPEGs I can't really crop them in the raw editor, which is weird. I couldn't find the cropping in it. So
We've lost the picture.
yeah, I took it out of the raw.
Oh.
And now it's in Photoshop, and I don't have it set to capture Photoshop. I have to bring it back into the camera raw. There. Now I got it back. See, now I got it cropped. I had to bring it in. I had to take it out of the camera raw filter by clicking OK, which brought it into Photoshop. I mean, actually in the Photoshop. Then I took the select tool and I cropped it out, basically the top and bottom, and then I pasted it onto a new file, and then I brought it back into Photo Raw under the filters.
Yeah.
So now if I zoom out, I'm on the wrong. I click on this. If I zoom out, you can't see the top and bottom anymore.
Yeah. So if you hold down that button, it lets you see what the image was like before you started editing. I don't know what it is on Photoshop.
Not anymore. I do believe not with this photo here. Let me see if I can bring back. See if I can bring back the other one. We'll do filter, camera raw filter. Let's see. Well, let me. You know what? Oh wow, that's weird. Cancel. Hold on a tick. I think I just found out something that was kind of neat just by accidentally forgetting to unselect it. Okay, now there's a whole picture. Okay, what happened there was I had that selection box. Growing up next to the Michigan pond was always cold. Oh, Jesus Christ. Brad grew up in Kenosha, which is next to Lake Michigan. Oh, Brad, yeah, my wife is fine. She just lost she just lost a scratch off underneath the stove. I gotta get better at looking at these. Okay, anyways, what happened here was I had the selection tool because I wanted to go crop it, and then I cut and pasted it into a new file.
Yeah.
I left the selection tool there. So I went back and I tried to open up this image again. It just opened up what was selected in the JPEG. So that was interesting. So if I want to crop one of the JPEGs, I can just crop it in Photoshop, then do photo raw, and then edit it. And I think it might only edit what's in that selection. I don't know. But Okay, here's a disadvantage with the JPEGs. Now with the last week we showed some of the images that I edited in RAW. I was able to bring in the Photoshop, and then I can bring it back into RAW. I could change something. I can bring it back into Photoshop. I can bring it back into RAW. I can unchange that something. Now with a JPEG, if you bring it into Photoshop RAW, change something, then you bring it back into Photoshop, it's locked. You bring it back into Photoshop RAW again, you can't unchange that something anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So all the
Just
changes
edit.
that I can. Okay. Put that image in your mental head. Let's see if I can bring up the other photo. Okay, I'll bring it up. Yes, I know this is. Come on, open up. Open up. No, you don't want to do it. Oh, thanks for stopping in, Brad. Appreciate it. You take care too.
Bye, Brad.
Save it as 1, 2. Yes, maximum. Okay. No, what am I? You know, sometimes when you do something at home, everything works great. But when you do something live, nothing wants to work the way you want it to work. Here, let's just put our two faces on here for now. Because I got a different way, I think. No. Let's see. Hold on. I know of ways to do things. It just sometimes it takes a little longer, and we'll get to editing. We'll get to your dog. Okay, let's see if I can stop that share. Do a different share window. We will share this one. Add stream. Okay, I think that is the one that I played with, and that's the original.
Yeah.
One I played with, and the original. Can do it.
So it has made a difference.
Yeah.
But obviously in RAW it would be 10 times better.
Right. You can go back and re-edit. You can continuously re-edit. The advantage with RAW is it saves the information in the file, what the changes that you actually did do. So if you bring it back in, you can actually undo those changes even after you closed it all out. You can bring it back in. You can start off from scratch again. You can wipe out all that information and then start from scratch again, or you can fine tune all the things that you did do, or you can add to it and change it even more. That's the advantage with RAW. But you can edit with JPEGs. It's just that once you click on that OK button to open it back up in the Photoshop, you can't go back and edit the things that you did.
Yeah.
But it can be done. So that's a nice thing about that. Okay. Want to do one more?
Yeah.
You want to do your dog?
Time for one more. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. We will edit. Why did I open it there? Copy. We'll open this one. Click a filter. Okay. There's the next one. Same person?
Same
Okay.
gecko.
That was gonna be my next question. Is it the same gecko too?
Yeah, they are nice geckos, they're eclipses. You
Okay.
can always tell an eclipse by the nose. So the front of the nose looks like it's not got any pattern, it's just completely white.
I thought the eyes were a different color if it was.
So, yeah, sort of. With an eclipse, you can tell normally by the eyes, but not all eclipses have solid black eyes. Some of them are partially black. And then if you've got an albino eclipse, an albino instead of being black is red.
I am going to have to tell Abby that if she didn't know.
Yeah, but normally the noses are a dead giveaway. If you've got a nose like that, it's an eclipse. And it's the same on the feet as well. They have like white feet normally.
Interesting. Now, the good thing about presets, if you find something that works for you, it gives you the same base as what you worked on before. So I used my snake box preset last time, which then will help. It helps create my style because everybody has. Sorry about that. Everybody has a different style. What looks good to you looks good to you. It will look good to other people, but not everybody.
Yeah.
So basically, that is your style because you like it. Everybody has opinions. Don't let them change your mind. You will find people that like your style. Look at
Yeah.
Monet, Van Gogh. They were different.
Well,
But people
you always
like.
take photos for yourself, don't you? Not for anybody else. You take it because you enjoy it.
Yes, yes. I found a style that I like. I do want to expand a little bit off of that, but I found a style and settings on editing to make it look the way how I want them to look, and that's how you and me started talking.
Yeah,
So
pretty
you,
much. Exactly the same
you
style.
like the style, yeah. You like the style and the editing and everything like that, and I gave you a couple hints, like you're having issues with being able to do the live focus with the camera, and told you to look for something similar to this. And since you're running camera or Canon, and you did, and you're like, dude, night and day.
Literally, it was. I felt like a moron afterwards though for not knowing that it was there. You know what I mean? I've had a decent camera now, for God knows how long. But it's one of them things that you don't play around with until you actually need it, and it's, I suppose.
Right. Oh, that was gonna be one of the things I was gonna say. And emphasize this: if you're gonna get a camera, don't say it takes crappy pictures if you don't know how to use it. Learn your camera. Learn how to adjust things. Learn the equipment you have before you start complaining about it not being able to take crap, or before you start complaining that it takes crappy pictures. Sometimes you can give a pro a crappy camera and they'll do better than a average guy with a good camera.
Well, there's a guy in the UK. Well, he's quite famous for it anyway, for photography. His name's Kai W, and he does exactly that. So he gives a pro photographer like an amateur camera with a kit lens, and then he has like a really good camera with L lenses on it and really expensive £2,000 lenses, and he still manages to beat him. It's
always nice when you can do something like that.
Most of the time, it's not even about the camera; it is about the lens. I found some bargain lenses that are really good, but I found some bargain lenses that are rubbish as well.
Right. It depends on the glass that was used. You need to do your research because not all lenses are the same, but some that are expensive are just a little bit better.
Yeah. The reason I stuck to Canon to start off was because I know that other camera makers have the adapters for Canon lenses because Canon make the best lenses. But if I was to choose now, because I've got the Canon M50 at the minute, and that is a brilliant camera, I love it, but I want a Sony A7 because the photos on that are better. Like the video on the M50 is okay, it does do 4K, but it crops it so badly that it's pointless.
Really? You ever think about just shooting it in 1080p?
Yeah, you can shoot in 1080p, but I was taking the dog for a walk the other day and I decided to try the 4K. But because it was 1.8 crop on top of 1.6 crop, it was just, and then you can hear the lens going, you know, because it's trying to focus it such a short space. And you can hear it, because I was only using like a nifty 50 lens, but you could hear the lens. It was horrible. So,
wow.
But Sony make really good cameras. It's just the lenses aren't that good. But if you can put Canon lenses on a Sony, you're laughing.
It's like, I know I could get adapters for the Micro Four Thirds.
Yeah.
But since Panasonic is not known for real good focusing to begin with,
yeah,
I wanted to stick with native.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. But if you zoom in on that gecko's eyes now, you'll see what I mean, because I don't think that gecko has completely black eyes, even though it is an eclipse. Can you see?
I can see a little bit right there. That's what I was kind of asking. That's why I was surprised. Like, that's really?
So normally it's like 3/4 if it's not completely black. But
that's
it's the nose normally I tell by.
What I'm doing is I'm just darkening up behind here because it looked a little distracting.
Yeah. There's that flare as well.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it looks dark now, but I can actually adjust. All I did was just turn the exposure down a little bit. That's, you know, it's a lot easier. I use Photoshop for a lot of things, but surprisingly, this photo editor, the raw photo editor in Photoshop, is way better than Photoshop for editing photos. And like, wow, all these times I was using Photoshop when, oh my God, I regretted so many decisions that I used to make. It's like,
yeah, when you look back at your old photo edits compared to now.
right. Oh, it's just unreal. I'm wondering, because this brush right here, I dropped the shadows a little bit. I minus the exposure a tad bit, and then I brought down the clarity. So if I bring it down way, you know, I can bring up the clarity, which makes all the spots black. So you just can't be afraid to do any changes.
Well, you can always undo anything that don't look right anyway, can't you? It's not.
Until I hit the OK button, I can undo anything.
Yeah.
If I hit the OK button, it almost locks everything into place.
Only on JPEG though.
On the JPEG, but in RAW, we can actually go back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like I'll click on OK now, but then I will select an area. I want to see if this actually works or not. If it's what I think it did. Yep. You select an area, and then you open up in Camera Raw. Poof. That selected area is in Camera Raw.
That's pretty cool.
Until I actually save it on the computer, that's kind of like the restart. But if I do save it, I will never overwrite the original. I'll always make it like a 2 quotation marks, so I know it was edited.
Yeah.
Because once you overwrite the original, with JPEGs, that is. Now with RAW, it saves as it goes along. But you can't print out a RAW.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you had to plug in a new mic?
Yeah, sorry, I just realised that it wasn't charging my iPad. Do you know that connector I brought?
And you know what? Your mic is really hot now. You are like twice as loud. So your mic probably wasn't actually working either.
No, just
Your
another bug
headphones
to work out with the new iPad.
See? I'm not the only one who was having issues today.
No.
This is only
So-
episode 2, so we're doing all right.
Yeah, we might have to restart again from episode 1 next time and just go straight from the start, like picking a camera, which cameras work best, how to import things, why to shoot in a certain way, then edit them and then post them, do the whole journey.
I should have you plan these more often.
I'll do some show notes for the next one.
Yeah. That'll be good things to discuss. Because now, for all you guys who are rewatching this or are watching it right now, which unfortunately is no one at the moment, but that's fine. But for everyone who rewatches this, the main reason why this started is because I wanted to show Joe how to get rid of the cocoa hair on one of his ball pythons, which is the photo we edited at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show him how to get the backgrounds nice and dark. And I figured the best way to do it is doing a live chat like this. And then I asked him, did you want to do it live on YouTube? Because I have a YouTube channel. And he was okay with it. He was nervous. No, first time. Was that your first time in front of a camera that was going on YouTube at all?
Yeah.
So we did it and it went good. We both had fun. We had some other people chatting in at the same time and everything. So, like, well, shit, we got to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. So I was like, oh, let's try this again sometime. So we figured once a month. You know, Joe mentioned about doing it once a month, and there was enough photography. We could go for a little while. Oh, that's right. Next week, we actually do have a guest. I reached out. Oh, mother. Let me. Robert. Robert. Oh, geez. Robert Gough. Gough.
Not Gough.
Gough. Robert Gough.
Yeah.
From Gough Exotics Photo. I went to his Wix page and saw that he has a section for reptile photography, but there's not any photos up there yet. There is some on his Instagram, but he's done some portraits and some other animal photography, but he is changing up to do some more reptile photography. So I asked him if he wanted to actually be our guest next month on, oh geez, calendar. I think it was the 6th of June. June 6th would be our next episode, and there's going to actually be 3 of us up here chatting all at the same time, which would be kind of neat.
Yeah, need to get a few more people on, and because again, so many people ask questions all the time. I don't know about you, but I must get 3-4 messages a day now on Instagram asking about photos.
Isn't it kind of nice though to have that happen?
Yeah, it is. It's just a nightmare though, because you don't always know the answers, and then it does your head in then because you don't know the answer to it, so you feel like you have to go and research it because I can't let things lie. I have to know.
Right, because we are amateur photographers basically.
Yeah.
We don't do this for a living, because that's what I consider a pro photographer. If you're doing this for a living, I would consider you a pro photographer. For doing it as like a hobby or something that goes along with another hobby business that you're doing, I would consider us to be amateur photographers.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you don't have to be a pro in order to take good photos. You just know how to take the photos, but you stumble on words in order to figure out how you did it.
Exactly. Work your way back.
Yep. Oh, by the way, this is coffee in here. It's non-alcoholic. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. The fact that you even mentioned that it's just coffee makes me think that it's not just coffee.
I could spill it, and you can see the brown. I like my coffee sweet and thick, so I put creamer and sweet low in it.
Ugh, you Americans and your creamer. Why don't you have milk in coffee? What's wrong with milk?
It's half milk and a splash of creamer. I use Irish cream Irish cream creamer. So
whiskey, basically. Is that Irish cream just whiskey?
Actually, I've had other Irish creams at gas stations that you can damn near taste alcohol in them. But the Irish cream that Delight makes, it's actually really thick. It doesn't taste like alcohol, which is actually kind of nice. That's why I only drink Delight Irish cream. Or if my wife wants me to feel special, she'll buy me the caramel macchiato from Starbucks, that creamer. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
I do like the Starbucks stuff. I've never understood though, like there's one way to wind up a British person, and that's to tell them how to make a drink. Yeah. And if it's tea and you're adding creamer to it, you've probably got a riot on your hands at some point.
I've heard that story. You don't put cream in tea. It's like when I made Lipton iced tea, it was always just sugar. Yeah. That's the only thing that I ever added into it, just to sweeten it up. Otherwise, it's too bitter.
Well, I'm going to have to get going in a minute, mate, because I need to go and get ready for work.
Oh, 10 minutes. Okay. Oh, I was going to quick talk about focus. Where is it? Hold on a sec. I got to stop this screen share, add another screen share. Windows, this one. Add to stream. Okay. Kind of how focus works. I'll put this in the center of my screen. Okay. This is describing a low f-stop and a high f-stop. Basically, a high f-stop is a small aperture. It's only opening up the hole a little bit. It's opening up the lens to let light in just a little bit. You will get more in focus around where your focus point is compared. I lost track of thought. Let's say you're focused like right here. If you're at a high f-stop, a small aperture, a high number, small aperture, so like say f11, your focus area is actually probably about yay wide. Now, if you went to an f-stop of, let's say, 1.4, your focus area is only about this deep. The camera's over here shooting this way. So it's your depth of field. If you notice on some of our pictures, we are so low to the snake that the back end of the snake falls out of this area that would be most in focus. It's like we try to focus on the eyes. I mean, with any person, animals, whatnot, they always look at the eyes first. You want the eyes to be in focus. Whatever is out of focus, depending on your f-stop, I normally shoot at 5.6 to 8 for my normal reflective photos. I found that anything over 8, it's not helping me any, but anything under 5.6, anything beyond the head is a little too bit out of focus unless I'm extremely close. Excuse me. But go ahead.
I was going to say I'm the same, but like this, you can see just looking at this why people find this intimidating, because people, like you've got here, low f-stop is large aperture and high f-stop is small aperture. It's completely like the opposite. But then a lot of people don't even refer to it as high f-stop. They'll just say fast or slow, which has got nothing to do with high or low. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different terms for the same thing.
The thing is, a fast lens is a low f-stop, but it's a large aperture.
Yeah. The main thing is, like some lenses, the more expensive lenses will go down to as low as 1.2
or lower. There is some that are sub 1.
Yeah, so they tend to be the really expensive lenses because they let more light in, and you can have higher shutter speeds or whatever. But some lenses only let you go down, like a kit lens, for example, might only let you go down to f4. So because that doesn't let a lot of light in, you have to.
And the thing is, with our reflective photography, f4 is not bad.
No, it's fine. You can go higher than 4, can't you?
Yes.
Kit lenses.
Yes. You can probably go up to like 16, 17 on a kit lens.
Yeah.
But you just, when you can let in a lot amount of light, but your focus depth changes quite a bit. Because if you allow too much light in to get everything in focus behind it, then you overexpose.
It's just like shining the sun through a magnifying glass. You can either get it to a point where it can kill an ant like that small, or it can be wide enough to. You've just got to think of it like that, really. That's how I think of it.
Yeah.
And that little dot is what the camera's focusing on.
And it's crazy how a shutter can open that diameter so fast, like 3,000 or 6,000ths of a second. It can fully open and close all the way. It's just mind-boggling.
It's even faster than that if you're looking at burst shots. Some cameras can take 6-7 shots in a second.
They're going up to 30 now.
Yeah, that's mad.
The new Sony Alpha 1 is 30 frames a second for photos.
So that's what, like, even if you had it on 1/3000th of a second, 30 times a second, that's...
Yeah. You're basically taking a small little video in order to get a photo. But I don't know if that's capture in RAW or if that's JPEG. I think it is in RAW. And there is a buffer.
Yeah, I was going to say it might just buffer after you've taken them.
But if it's a moving subject, is every photo in focus?
If there's anyone willing to sponsor us to find that out, Canon, I'm looking at you. Just send us a few L lenses. We'll test them out.
Yeah. Yeah. I know my camera is good for shit, so I don't even know if I even want to try. I mean, as long as the photos that you take are the way you want them to be in the end game, that's all unless you're getting paid by someone, that person probably came to you because they like how you took photos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll probably talk about the focusing a little bit more because I scurried to get this image to find a decent image that kind of shows how the focusing crosses. And if you're closer to your subject, it crosses way sooner. So in other words, if you get too close to your subject, you get their nose in focus. But once you get to the eyes, it's out of focus because you're so close.
Yeah.
The V is like this. Now, if you're farther away, the V to your focal point, if you're 2 feet away instead, is up here. If you're a foot away, it's basically down here. So it gets out of focus faster the closer you are to your animal or subject. And the farther away you are from your subject, the more or the less it goes out of focus, the less bokeh you would have immediately.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because some people are like, every time I set up a camera and I go and take a picture, the animal moves, I have to reset up the focus. Yes. Because the point where it is focusing is changing.
That's where the Canon M50 comes into its own, because that screen on the back is touch screen, but where you touch it is where it focuses. So every time it moves, you just change that and it takes the photo. I love that. It's the best feature I've seen on a camera.
When I do my photos on a tripod, I have a remote button. It's a plug-in button I can plug into the side of the camera, and I can push it halfway. I can actually push the button halfway down. It'll focus, and if I have the setting on the back of the camera on consistent focusing, it'll always be trying to focus until I actually push the button all the way down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Canon does something similar, but it tracks. It's really good. It tracks your eyes and your face, but it works on the geckos as well. So it tracks.
Does it really work on the geckos?
Yeah, it's mad. Even in low light, it picks up black eyes and it follows it if it moves.
I was going to try that on my Panasonic because it has face detection.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if that would work with either the geckos or with the ball pythons.
It definitely works on the geckos.
Definitely works on the geckos. Okay, on a Canon, anyways.
Yeah, on the Canon.
I'm gonna have to try that with the Panasonic that I have. I wish I could get the new Panasonic, the full frame, but I'm working with what I got because I already had it. Well, I did buy some good glass for it, but I'm also working with the Nifty 50 lens. Now that's what I started with this camera, and that lens is only like $156 for this camera.
Is that the Canon Nifty 50 or the Panasonic's Nifty 50?
It's the Panasonic, actually. It's a 25 millimeter, which with Panasonic micro four thirds, it is double the crop factor. So it's a 25 millimeter that acts like a 50 millimeter with a 35 mil comparability.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it wasn't too awfully expensive. Nifty 50s are cheap anyways.
Yeah. Well, you can get the Canons for about £100.
Yeah. And they take good photos. They do. They really do.
Brilliant. They're so versatile as well. You can take them out with you. You can do anything with them. I prefer prime lenses to zoom lenses.
Yes. I have one zoom and 3 primes.
Yeah.
And one of them was off a drone, so it worked.
Yeah.
But anyways, you got to get to work.
I do.
And I need to go clean gutters out from our garage because we have lots of sticks in the gutters, and Rain doesn't like sticks in gutters.
I keep forgetting that your day's only just beginning as mine's.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock here, and you're getting up and going to work third shift.
Yep.
You're 6 hours ahead of me here. You're at 9 o'clock right now, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have daylight savings time?
Is that where they change the clocks an hour?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Good. I know some parts of the country do and some don't. So when that comes around to the time, we'll still be on the same schedule then.
Yeah, but I think we change our clocks at a different time to you.
No.
I think it's only a couple of weeks.
Oh, hopefully I should be all right then.
Yeah.
Because we do this only once a month, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But until next month, please, if anybody has any questions, leave them in the comments below. Find us on Instagram. We're DNA. I'm DNA Reptilia, or me and my daughter, DNA Reptilia, on Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube. And then Joe, you are
just Parceltongue Reptiles on Instagram. I've not branched out into Facebook or anything yet.
I thought I found you on Facebook once. Maybe it was just a mention then. But ask some questions. Send us some pictures if you want a photo to be edited, maybe, or see what could have possibly been done, to help the photograph look even better before you even take the photo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it's always better to get as much right as possible in camera, so you do very little post processing to make it look better.
Exactly.
But until next month, well, you don't have an outro yet. That'll probably be on the next one we have to work for to make an outro. So we're just gonna have to say we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
And
I'll speak
thanks
to you soon, mate.
Yes, we'll talk again later. We'll keep in touch, definitely. All right.
Will do. All right, nice one. Cheers, mate.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
See ya. Bye.